Thank you, everybody. So this said in the agenda it was about Windows 10. I think we got the blog mixed up, but we are going to quickly. This is a half-an-hour session on analytics and some of the tools which Zebra have got, and some of the thoughts around why we've invested in analytics, why we've invested in a platform, and how analytics can help you from an ISV and from a reseller community, and also help the end user, and where there's value for both sides. So one of the questions we keep getting asked and why we looked into it is, when the Windows mobile devices are in the field and when the generic devices are out there, how do we know what we're getting out of them? How do we know what the status are of them? Do we know where they are? Do we know what they're being used for? Do we know what the battery levels are? Do we know, what the WAN signal is? If you've got a whole fleet of devices that are out there, how can you make sure you've got the best of breed wherever you are, and make sure you've got the right wireless network, you can have the right WAN carriers, and not just across a single device. We wanted to make sure it was across your entire portfolio, whether that's your Android devices, your iPads, your printers, your laptops. Let's make a platform which can go along. So, not knowing where it is, we know is supposedly a hidden energy. And if you think of a generalized customer, he struggles to know where his printers and his computers are. And we know from large retailers, and a classic example where I've been and seen a customer is they have maybe 50 devices in their site, and they're looking for one, and they found that the clothing department has hidden their MC67 up in the top of the racking, so the fresh fruit department don't go and steal it. And they hide the printer somewhere, and they all keep it themselves and they hide it, so it's their own individual device. So if we can give visibility across that whole store or that whole area of where it was and how it's being used, it means we can utilize them better. So, as I say, it's time consuming finding them, going in there. If anyone's ever gone and done an audit of a store, we all know how long it takes to find it. And it's manual currently. So, these are some of the health checklists that we came up with in order to look at best practice. So whether that's a standalone application, so some of our partners are writing a health check application when they first load the device up. They're checking, can it go onto store if it's got less than 30%? Because the worst thing you want to do is someone take their device, they go and put it on the shop floor, and it stops working. Or your guy in field service, he takes it out, it stops after 2 hours because the battery's low. So we want to make sure productivity is at its best. Do we know where it is if it's been repaired? So you send off your device to the repair centre. Has it got stuck in customs? Has there been an issue with a lack of part from our side? Is it still at the reseller because it needs to come back to the funnel? Are they waiting for 20 units to go? Where is it in that repair cycle? So we want to give the visibility of that. We also want to know what the latest firmware is and the OS patches. So you heard us talk yesterday about making sure it's consistently on the latest and greatest. The only way we can do that is to make sure it's connected to a service, we can see it, and we can give the indication of where it is and what it is. If today on the Windows mobile model of install once, keep it deployed, never update it, this wasn't really an issue. But on the consumer model now of moving and updating and keeping consistent, to have a view of your entire fleet, maybe allowing you to update a section of the devices first, to get an update down, trusted and working, before you then install that update across everything, it gives us that visibility to move forward. Security, firmware, fully charged. You can see the side, and if any of you do a peak model of using more devices at a certain time, and then at Christmas time ramping up, again we can see that model, and we can help you utilize your devices better. So we can look at historical past to say, we're using 30% more at this date. How can we then make sure we get that right amount across the fleet, across the whole area? So these are some stats which we've actually got from, and you can see these aren't our reports, these are industry leader reports, right, from a Gartner, IDC, etc. And you can see we split into two areas. operations and IT. And when we're thinking about investing in analytics and investing in remote tools, these are some of the things which we've gone to businesses and said, do you actually know how much it's costing you today in order to do all these things? And something just like the poor service and the downtime, 80 minutes, of lost productivity every time a device breaks. Now actually, that may be due to an application, that might be down to the OS, that might be down to something outside of your control. But every time it breaks, it's 80 minutes. And anybody that does ePod or electronic proof of delivery, we all know when the device breaks, what happens? We revert to paper. And when you revert to paper, that means there's an admin at the other end that has to fill in all the admin, put it all back through, and the user loses that tracking and visibility. Anyone that orders a parcel online, we all now expect that service to be within a window, and you don't want to sit at home all day waiting. So if your device breaks and goes down, that means you're not getting that visibility of where the driver is. And now for me, if I can get a 2-hour window and I can see where that parcel is on a continuous loop, that's better for me. I don't have to sit at home for 7 hours waiting for the driver to come. So it's all about that end user visibility as well by having the uptime of the device. So any of these things we can use as a reason. Stolen devices. Again, a classic example of we've worked with end users using the analytics tools to find the device that's been stolen. One use case was someone had a device stolen. We found it in a rubbish bin. Okay? The device worked fine, but it was all locked down. It couldn't be used, so the guy stole it. He threw it in a bin. We could see exactly where it was, and we went and collected it and helped the user find it. Other things we've done around making visibility of it before you even know there's an issue. So we load an application on. You may see it has more device restarts. Maybe there's an issue in the application, but we put it in a pilot group. We can test, we can see, and before we deploy it to our estate, we can look at that specific set, look before we go. I'll talk about something we did in Brazil later. So having just an MDM though, and here we can talk around the SOTI and AirWatch and Mobile IM. You can do a lot of that stuff, right? You can lock it down, you can do applications, you can do remote view, you can track where it is. But we all know if anybody's ever used those consoles, that's a real IT, developer, integrator style console. You have to know how to do your SQL reports, you have to know how to use it, and it's not really a visibility platform which can be used either out in the field or at store level or your regional sales teams level. You think about how we want to see this information. It was really an IT team who sat there in a hub, who looked, sent down updates and controlled it from a centralized location. What we're looking at though doing is taking it and have a way to boost the operational efficiency from not just the IT team, but from a whole company as a whole, give you better visibility, and at the end of the day, reduce the cost of those failures. So we launched a service, I think it was around 18 months ago. We call it OVS, Operational Visibility Service, and this is what I'm talking about. Using an MDM tool, but giving you a dashboard to give the visibility of where we're going. So here's an example, okay? So this is a screen here, and you can see a dashboard. It shows you high-level information that we take from an MDM and make it visible and usable for an operational lead, okay? So again, let's think about a retail use case, or let's think about a field service use case, okay? Two really resonant areas here. So you're a supermarket manager, or you've got a team of field guys. Here, we can give a dashboard view to each manager of what's going on, okay? So, you may only look after the check. You don't care about your whole team, or you may just want to concentrate on your 10 guys. We can do a tree view and give you dashboards to that level. Here, you can see high-level information quickly of where things are. So here, 26% of the devices have not been seen. So that means a quarter of your workforce immediately haven't been using their devices. We can then click into there, we can drill down, we can see who it is, we can see which side it is. Actually, that might make sense. Today, in that area of, the town, maybe there's a bank holiday, right? And that's right. But immediately you can see what's going on. To get that information otherwise from a SOTI, you have to log in, you have to run a report, you have to ask admin to give it, and you've got read access and write access to the devices. So here in this view, they can't change anything. The user can't change anything, they can't affect the device, they can just get the visibility of what's going on. So again, something like wireless LAN signal. If you're trialing out 2 different carriers to see which has got the best carrier, we can map out the carriers and we can give you a percentage of the wireless LAN. And then the repair status. So here's a really interesting one. And I think when you transition to Android and go onto the new style devices, you'll already see this repair number goes down. We know Android is better, we know Android is stable, and we know the products are better. So we already know the repair status will go down from a Windows Mobile deployment. I'd be willing to bet money with any deployment today that their Windows Mobile repair rate to Android will go down, okay? And if anybody wants to bet me against it, I'm quite happy to take the bet on that one. So what we're doing here is this is another graph to show a few more of the stats. So we have here printers, okay? So it means if you have got a deployment that uses mobile printers and it uses mobile devices, we can have the printers and we can have the mobile devices on one screen. Because at the end of the day, if you're doing ticketing and you need both, you need to have that visibility of what's going on. So any link-OS printer, any of the new link-OS printers, we can support an analytics module on there. So the printers connect to the cloud just the same as any of the mobile devices. Utilization, battery status, I was saying, clearly a big one on battery. So we can give you the indication of when that battery is going to go. So today, if you buy a battery refresh program from a reseller, what's a battery refresh really? In 2 years' time, we'll ship you some batteries, right? And we'll swap them out. What this means is we can be proactive. We could see, is the site recharging their batteries more and more? Do they use them more? Are they more likely to go? Actually, did that site deploy 6 months earlier than the other site? We can give you that visibility, so it means we can do a proactive battery repair status with you. We can get the battery out to site better. You can see, is someone misusing the battery? Are they always ringing up the help desk and saying, Mark, I've only got 2 hours battery in my device today? Well, yes, Joe, because you haven't charged it the night before. We can see those consistent reporting and see the analytics of what's going on. So it gives you that insight of what's going on. Another thing that we've added, and for the first time ever, we are now giving visibility into our repair chain, okay? So this is when you send a device to a Zebra OneCare contract to Zebra, we are showing you where you are. So if you've ever raised and this can be from a customer level, this can be from a site level, again, depending on how you want to share, you might not want to share this information with your user that runs 10 supermarkets, or you might do if they need to make sure there's a constant number of devices in there. So what this means is you can see where it is in the supply chain, you can see how many devices you've sent, has the same device gone back twice, and then, is Fred always getting his device, and is he always smashing his screen? So you can see which users are the ones that are most, what's the word? Break them or whatever, and you can do training to make sure they respect the device more. We can see cases, so if you raise a technical case, you can again see in our chart of where it is, what it is, service desk and the queue. So if we are not meeting our SLAs from a Zebra perspective, we're showing you this information. We're being open and visible to where we're going, okay? I think it also helps with your spare pool, right? Making sure you have enough spares to go, and as I was saying with the peak time, we can make sure that at peak, if you need more devices, we can help going. So OVS uses SOTI underneath as its main management tool to deploy, to configure, and to go to site. We also have launched another service. We call this AVS, okay? And this is an analytics platform that has no MDM, okay? So this isn't a management tool. This is really a visibility tool, okay? So you think with SOTI, you can send an application and install an application. You can install your wireless certificates. You can do all that, okay? That's perfect if you've got a large fleet, okay? If, however, let's take Kevin's Kitchen Fitters, okay? Guys that go and install, you know, locally. This service sits on top of the Zebra device, okay? It's pre-installed, okay? You can choose to opt in or you can choose to opt out, okay? So there's a command to opt in or opt out, okay? So it's your choice. But what it means is we collect that data to the cloud, so you need to be on our cloud, you need to have a web connection. If you're in a closed APN, it's a bit more of a trouble, but come speak to us if that's a use case. And this, again, shows you the information from a traffic light scenario. So we can predict, we can preempt, and we can get visibility, okay? So, similar type of idea, okay? Dashboards, and we have a more of a traffic light system here in a red, amber, green scenario. Some of the ideas are similar to what we're doing with the OBS, but remember this is not a management tool, okay? So this gives you visibility without the management ability. That is, you know, a bit of a mouthful. But one use case we did with ABS, and we were running a trial in Brazil, okay, a real life trial. They had their own management tool, okay, which they built themselves, okay, and they sent out a new application to a store, and we ran OVS as a trial, ABS sorry, as a trial, and we could see that the application was having ANR failures, the word, you know, errors. Let's call it errors, okay? And we told them before they knew there were errors in their application because we had the analytics and the visibility. What that meant was we spoke with the application partner, we got them fixed, we then asked the partner to redeploy, they redeployed it, and before they knew it, the issue was fixed. So rather than send that out across their entire fleet with errors, we stopped it at the point and deployed it. Now, this out of the box as a 30-day trial. There's a license fee against it, but a much smaller license fee than against a full managed MDM. This can run alongside an MDM, again, if you want, and we can run, you know, if you've got, let's take an example, in this region, FAMOC or a MDM provider that you're using and want to run this alongside, you can do that as well, okay? So as I was saying, it gives you a traffic light scenario. So if you're a user without, you know, we don't have to give full in-depth training. It's pretty obvious what it is. We can see green, amber, red. We can set these levels to be what fits your solution. And again, we can do it with printers as well. There's a function called Go Home on the Link OS and allows you to do it. Okay? So a few examples here of different use cases to pick the right solution, because we've got all these different platforms, right? But what actually is the right solution to go into these different use cases? So here's an example of a retail store, okay? They actually had an MDM platform, okay? What that is, we're not entirely sure, okay? We believe it's AirWatch or SOTI, okay? One of the biggest two, okay? So what we did is we looked in and we said we want to get visibility into the device, into the battery performance, into the repair status. So we actually have designed a new product as well, which we call OVS Connect, okay? So that's similar to OVS that we talked about earlier, but OVS Connect takes an existing SOTI or AirWatch instance that's already installed on-prem or in the cloud, and we actually have a connector to take that data and put it into our dashboards, okay? So it means you don't have to rip out your entire MDM installation if you've already got it. We can actually put devices on top of it, okay? This use case here was in TNL, and they had 250 devices. some network printers and some mobile printers. They just wanted high level. They had no budget in order to install full MDM. They were doing manual stuff, and they wanted to make sure that the devices were being utilised. Okay? So here, without the budget and without the investment up front in an OVS and in a management tool, AVS would be the option here. But what's great about this is that you can install AVS, you can show them what the information is, and then we can then port them onto using a managed service afterwards. Okay? So I said they're not exclusive. You can have one and then move to the other. But this is a stepping stone that you may want to do it on. And a great example here is let's do it in one area. Let's do it in one store or one region or one. Get the information. They'll see the power of just having that information in their hands. And then from there, we can upgrade and get more devices moving forward. We can help you collect that information and make it useful. Again, this guy had a larger number of units. They've got printers. And they wanted an MDM platform. So here we positioned OVS, with OVS holding the SOTI instance within that whole infrastructure. So with OVS, packaged within the price of OVS is the full SOTI license. So we provide you with a full cloud SOTI license. Zebra can host it in our cloud, okay? Zebra can host it in your cloud. Zebra can even host it in your on-premise, okay? Each of them has a different cost association. What we're seeing more and more and more is that companies are allowing us to put in OVS into the cloud. The data which is collected isn't personal data from their customer. It's device information that's a business-owned corporate device. It stays in the cloud. It's secure. They can have access. We can have access to make sure you have the uptime. It means there's no need to have a full service desk from your side onto there. We provide the full managed service, and then the partner can also see it. So you can use it for partner staging. The customer can get the information. The partner can see the information, and we from Zebra can help that moving forward. And then healthcare. Again, we're looking at using large devices and connecting it with OVS. But these are all the impacts that we've seen, and these are all real-life scenarios where we've installed. So from a Zebra perspective, we now have over 300,000 devices running on these platforms. We're seeing daily amounts coming through. So one of the questions someone says to me is, the AVS platform here, okay, with all this information, how much data, okay, is coming through? This is normally the first question they say to me, how much data? We collect about 4 kilobytes a day to collect this information. So we're talking tiny, tiny, tiny amounts that are coming through. If we want to use it for OVS, where we're sending applications down, clearly it's going to use more data, but with the price of data going down and down and down, we can actually increase the amount of data and information we can push back the other way. So the data, the security is clearly sometimes an issue. We can do the right security model to fit your right user, and we can work with you to build the right model around that's going on. So I think the net result which we've seen in all of these is a lot of these impacts. We've improved allocation of devices, we've improved the uptime, we've improved the visibility so you can see across the fleet where we are. And I said these are all real life things from our customers that they've said. One of the things that we've noticed in some accounts since we've implemented this is actually they have too many devices. Okay? They would ship too many to some areas and too less to others. Okay? Now we don't want to have devices sat on the shelf. We want to make sure they're used. So if there's something we can help with, so say there's in a peak scenario, okay, so at Christmas time, maybe for that period of time you actually need 5,000 more devices. Let's pick that, okay? Does that actually mean though for the rest of the year you should be paying a service fee against those 5,000 devices? Probably not, right, if they're sat in a box. But today, we from Zebra don't know where they are. So we're saying, well, the service needs to be paid all year, right? But if we can see that for 9 months of the year they're actually turned off, they're not being used, then we can work to lower a service cost for you. So the value of that increases. We're increasing your visibility, we're lowering your costs for it, and we can help with that peak model. So my real plea to you guys is think about your end users, think about your customers, think about where they may not be using the devices right, where they may have a benefit of having some visibility that we can work with you to work a model around it and with the partners to lower the cost across the year. Okay? And I think, this run around security has been a real driver for people having the visibility, making sure the devices are up to date, they've got the latest on, they've got the patches, and that we can see that they're ready to go in the field. You think of the Windows XP issue, where they weren't patched and they all got hacked. This means we can make sure they've got the latest build on there, they've got the latest hot fixes, and if there's a device that hasn't got it on, we can find out why. So again, easy to run a report, easy to view. Okay? So they were what I want to cover. We can show you a demo, we can give you a login to a portal to see, we can give you a demo of some of the screens or some of the ideas or some of the reports or some of the dashboards. Come speak to any of us. Come let me know if there's anything you want to move forward with, if it's on a SOTI, if it's on a AVS or on an OVS. And I guess anybody got any questions about it?
Oh yeah, question. So OVS and AVS is for Zebra.
Okay, good, great question. So, no. So, AVS, yes, Zebra devices. OVS, let me go back to my first slide. Would be the first one, right? So we are more than happy, okay, to support, because it uses SOTI, okay, we are more than happy to support any device which SOTI supports, okay, and we will show them in the dashboard with as much information as we can get. So let me give you an example. If you wanted to put 5,000 Samsung S5s in there, right, okay, we can show them as online. We can show all the information which Android lets us pull out of SOTI, okay? Anything that we can't find out, such as let's take the OS build number, right? That's a Zebra specific piece, we can't show. But we're happy to put all devices in. There may be a slightly different model of pricing, etc., depending on what we can do. But we have an OVS customer today that has Samsungs, iPads, printers, everything in.
My understanding with OVS and AVS, maybe I was wrong, but was that it was supposed to be contracted Zebra devices. That might be.
Yeah, so they need to have a Zebra One Care repair. But if it's something you want to do, work with us. Okay. I'd always say don't feel like there's a negative. Work with us, but we need a repair contract. So we can track them, so we can show the repair status, so we know where they are and what they're doing.
You say there might be some exceptions?
Well, for instance, the Samsungs, right?
Yeah, sure.
There's no repair, right?
For Zebra devices? No. For Zebra devices,
that's our standard rule, right? But I say, if it's a case we want to see some that are in the field today, that we want to make sure that they're coming through the repair loop, then yeah, well I said, come work with us and we'll work out the use case of what it is. Anybody else? Yes?
Kind of a similar question, but if we are managing workstations, so Windows 10 and Mac,
Yep.
so what kind of information can we pull out in OVS for that?
So we can pull out if they've been utilised, etc. We need to look at SOTI. I'm not an expert on, but if we've got a specific use case, let me go to our experts and let us find out what exactly we can pull. Whatever we can pull out of SOTI, right? We can share. If we need to create a specific report, at the end of the day, these are reports, right? Where are they? Let's go to it. I'm trying to find the screen now. These are reports, right, that we're querying the SOTI database, right, and putting in a dashboard format. So if the data's there, we can probably create a report for whatever's going on. Yeah?
So you mentioned that ABS is collecting metrics from printers as well.
Yes.
So does it collect also wireless LAN and battery?
On the printers, yeah, LinkOS printers, we can collect they have to be connected to the internet, right? So either Ethernet cabled or wireless, but we can connect. So a mobile printer, we can get the battery of a mobile printer. Let me give you I can give you a full dashboard of what we can collect. We've got a data sheet. Okay.
My question was related to the architecture.
Yes.
With SOTI.
Yep.
You're on top of SOTI.
Correct.
You're using the REST APIs. That's
Yes. Yeah. Anybody else? So go.
So what's the main difference between OBS and ABS? Is
So-
it no SOTI? and-
No SOTI on ABS. Yeah. That's basically ABS is a view platform, so a view only. SOTI OBS gives you the view, and it gives you the manageability factor as well. Okay. It means you can do all your IT administration with SOTI, but then give your operational team the visibility out in the field. So it depends. If you want to manage it, OBS clearly is the way forward. If you just want a high level visibility and they're staged out the box, or it's BYOD or something like that, ABS is a model which you can look at doing. Make sense? Okay. Yeah.
What's the customization story on these dashboards? Is it just like a standard app or?
Yeah, so you can go in, you can choose the levels of which it's amber, green, red, depending on your use case, right? So if actually you don't mind the outer service because they may work on the highlands and islands, right? Let's say that as an example. Then you can customize the thresholds. You can set alerting, so it alerts X, Y, and Z on a hierarchical basis. It's that type of customization. And again, if there's a specific thing we want to do, we'll put a consultancy package around it, right, to make sure it fits what you want to do. We know not every time sending out 25% an alert on out of contact devices is the right thing to do, right? And it might be different per depot. You can do this on a user level. You can see Bobby's logged in here, right? That's Bobby's account. She can only see certain areas, and she may have a different customization to other people, right? And you might want to choose different things on the dashboard as your opening piece.
So yeah, to link the question, you mentioned there is a data sheet, so a list of
Yes.
information we can. So imagine we can configure the platform based on some information we want to highlight, depending on the type of.
So we have a set number of reports today, right? I think
This is defined.
I think there's 22 reports which we create these different areas for. But again, as it's something that we're developing internally, if there was a report that we're missing or we wanted, ask us and we'll put that to our team to do. This is, that's the difference of us doing it than someone else, right? We can ask to get it updated. And it's a cloud platform. It means we can update. It's the same with SOTI, right? Have it in the cloud. We can update it as frequently as you want.
Tell us what the underlying dashboarding tech is. Is it Tableau, Power BI, something like that?
I don't want to say I haven't got a clue, but I can get you the answer. If you give me your card, I'll find out exactly what it is.
Okay.
I'm being told it's. So let me say thank you. And any other questions, let's chat now. And if you can do the old app and give it a rating, that'd be great. And it's coffee, half an hour, and then we go back again. So any questions I'll take, let everyone else go. Cool. Thanks, guys.